Recording in progress. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I think people will jump in as we get going, but I want to go run through this pretty quickly. This is not my first time having done this, so my anticipation is that I'm going to know all the answers and all the questions up front. I'm going to answer them before we ever get anywhere, which of course we all know is absolutely not true. So I'm going to wait about, now that people are popping in, I'm going to wait about one more minute, and then we'll get up and running. One more minute. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys, though, so we can get started here. All right, I'm going to throw up a slideshow on a PowerPoint, which just everybody loves PowerPoints. I know. It's hard to imagine this much fun. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I know people are dropping in now. We're starting getting a few more people come in. This is the information session for 2024, 2025 for our North location. It's our North Atlanta location, which operates out of the Brookhaven area. We've already had one for our Cobb location and one for our South location. Those should be up on the website by the end of this week. So this one is specific to our North location. Rome and Central Georgia will do their own, and then we'll throw them up on the website a little bit later on. So just kind of want to go over the basics of, again, this is for people who are new to Tsunami or new to club volleyball. And so we're going to have a lot of answers here, but kind of run through it fairly quickly. Because I have a PowerPoint open, I'm not able to monitor the chat, but go ahead and put questions in the chat. And when we're finished here, I'll go through and read them again and see if I've answered those questions or not answered those questions. So feel free to do that. If I leave something out that you need to know right that second, because it determines a whole bunch of other stuff, then just unmute yourself and yell at me. And I will answer the questions we got. So I'm happy to see you guys. You're welcome to be on video, welcome not to be on video. It doesn't, my feelings aren't hurt either way. A few years ago, we had a woman in the bathtub on camera, and that was a little different. Other than that, we were pretty good any way we want to do it. So this is our class of 2024. I'm going to run through just so you know who we are and what we're doing. I'm going to run through just like the last 4 or 5 years as far as where our kids are playing. And you can kind of see that there is every single level here, from Brainiac schools, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO. There is a little bit of everything. Even during COVID, we sent 8 kids to play collegiately. So you'll see that class was a little bit smaller. And one of these classes 3 is a little bit smaller. So anyway, and there's literally, you'll see HBCUs, you'll see everything across the country. So our kids are getting in front of some of the best coaches in the country and tons and tons and tons of schools. We've had kids a few years ago. We had 5 kids that were playing on teams that were in the top 15, including this kid who was at Penn State. We had a kid at Baylor. We had a kid at Notre Dame and a couple of kids at Georgia Tech, and they were all top 15 at the time. So anyway, so our kids are playing in good places. So that's the big picture version. I know I was asked, well, is this a good program? You know, what am I getting into? Do you guys know what you're doing? That sort of stuff. So that's just kind of our brag book quickly. So let's go into what it means for most of us. Most of us aren't necessarily 17 years old and looking to play in college at this moment. So first of all, my dogs have now decided it's time to come and go and do all that kind of stuff. So forgive me if you hear them yipping at me. So we use in our North location, we use 4 locations right now: Wyuka Church, Brookhaven Presbyterian, Globe Academy, and Atlanta Classical Academy. We are looking for a new facility in the area. We're trying to buy one or rent one, and I will keep you guys updated as we go through that. Unfortunately, I have to say we've been trying to do that for several years now and have not had the success we wanted, but we keep our fingers crossed that any day that miraculous location is going to appear, and we're going to be able to have our own facility in the area. But in the meantime, this allows us actually to keep the cost down a little bit, although it does present some challenges with having to work around basketball and that sort of stuff. So, hey, it is what it is. But we've been using these places for several years and have had great success for the most part. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, so here's where we start with this process. You have to figure out what age group, if you're new to this, you have to figure out what age group your daughter plays. And it is based on how old she is on July 1st of next season. So we're going into the tryout season. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. So during the tryout season, she's going to try out for whatever age group she is next year on July 1st, 2025. Now, sometimes if you have a July or August birth date, there is the opportunity for you to play at the older age group because that's your graduating class. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So for just simple version right now, my daughter is 11 years old. She turns on July 1st of this year, she'll be 11. So she's playing 11s. She turns 12 August 8th. To think about that for a minute. She turns 12 August 8th. And so next year on July 1st, 2025, she will be 12 years old, so she can play 12 and under. Now, she can play older than that. She can play 13s, 14s, 15s, 18s, but she can't play younger than that. So your age group that you're going to compete is your birthday, July 1st, 2025 or older. There are some things, if you have a daughter who is like atypical, meaning she's a 17-year-old but she's a senior in high school, or she's a senior in high school but she's junior in high school but she's 18. There's some different rules, and if that's you, just reach out to us, info@tsunamivolleyball.com, and I'll give you that email address a bunch more times. But we'll sit down and get your exact circumstances and make sure we advise you correctly. But anyway, so that's the first part about this. Then with Tsunami, we have 4 different levels of teams. We have elite, national, premier, and ATL. And so they go in order. Our elite teams are our highest level teams. They're traveling the most, so they're competing at the highest level. Our top teams at that grouping are typically in the top 4 or 5 teams in the region, and often in the top 100 teams in the country out of several thousand. So our elite teams do very well. This season, a couple of the elite teams at North, 16-1 Lane actually double qualified. They qualified. I think they double qualified this year. I know they qualified. Yeah, they double qualified. So anyway, so we've got some athletes in our elite program at North Atlanta that are doing very well. So our next level down, and I want to go over one thing quickly. At the elite level, playing time is not guaranteed. It is possible for your daughter to practice and not play in matches. Now, I tell my coaches not to let a kid sit on the bench forever. That's not fun for anybody. But the party line is that playing time at the elite level is not guaranteed. And I'll tell you why that matters in just a second. So the other version is national, which is the same thing as elite, except not traveling quite as much. So these guys are going to play in 1 or 2 qualifiers instead of 2 or 3 national qualifiers. They're going to travel a little bit less, but they're going to train 3 times a week. They're going to do positional. The older kids are going to participate in our recruiting program. There's a whole bunch of good stuff that goes with being at the national level. Again, at the national level, playing time is not guaranteed. So if I have a couple of 17-year-olds that stopped playing, but when they were playing, I didn't care what level they played. I just wanted to see them play. So I would not have put them at the elite or national level. That's not, first of all, they weren't good enough for it. I won't talk about that part, but I wanted to see them play. That was what gave me joy. So we have a premier level, which is our regional level. These guys are going to compete in Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. This is for often it's like 2-sport athletes really fit in well here. They practice twice a week, but they play higher level tournaments, and they do travel a little bit. You're going to travel 2 or 3 times where you have to stay in a hotel. So as a parent, you get to be on a travel team without taking on air flights and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so at the premier level, we start to say that on pool play, everybody plays, not necessarily equal, but it is fair play. And then for bracket play, we play to win. And so at that point, you play the best 6, 7, 8, whatever that number is. And then our last level is our ATL level, which is exactly what it sounds like. These guys are only going to compete in Atlanta. And at the ATL level, everybody plays all the time. It's as even and equal as we can possibly make it. So if you've ever watched volleyball, it's not minutes, it's rotations. So sometimes you get stuck in a rotation and it seems like you play a lot more or a lot less, when in reality, it's all based on numbers of rotations. So anyway, so we picked your age group, and now we've talked about which level you want to play as far as, what involvement you want. So we get into what level should I try out for? So starting to talk about tryout questions. So what level do I want to try out for? We want to try out for the highest level that you would realistically think you want to play. and that you think you might be able to compete in. If you are a 16-year-old and you have never played volleyball before, please don't think you're going to walk out and make one of our elite teams unless you are, one step dunking a basketball. If you can touch 10-2, 10-3, 10-4, you might very well make an elite team. Other than that, those guys have played a lot. They're going to be pretty good. So I don't want to encourage you just to run out and try for the elite level. However, try out a little bit higher than you think you might be. Well, I think I might play national. Great. Definitely try out for national then. The only thing that's going to happen if you don't make it is you get invited back to the next level. So we put them in order. You try out for elite first, then you try out for national, then you try out for premier, then you try out for ATL. So if you don't make elite, you come back for national. You don't make national, you come back for premier. You don't make premier, you come back for ATL. So you're not, the only problem with you trying out at too high of a level is that we might say no. Other than that, there's no additional cost for you to try out the second, third, fourth, fifth time. There's no negative mark on your kid by any means other than you didn't make it. And so it says, do I need to register again if I don't make a team the first time? No, absolutely not. One registration is fine. And so when we do tryouts, we actually tell you that night as far as whether you have made a team or not. So at the end of the tryout session, your kid will get an envelope that says, hey, I'm sorry that you didn't make a team at the elite level. Please come back to national or whatever the case may be. Or you'll get an envelope that says, congratulations, you have made our whatever team, national 14-1. And so the process at that point is you get the offer. We ask you to put down a deposit to save your spot. And then we don't look for anybody else, and you don't go try out anywhere else, and you can go home and we're set. You've made that team. You're on that team. There are no takebacks. So some people go, well, I don't want to go try to see us other places. Okay, great. If you walk out, if there's nobody else behind you, I'm probably going to wait on you. If there's 6 people behind you that are just as good as her, I'm probably going to offer it to somebody else so that I can fill out the team. That's the business side of this. But so here's how we fix that. Get in our gym before tryouts. Don't wait to figure out what we look like and figure out how we train, figure out what our athletes are doing at tryouts. That is too late. It's not too late. We'll take the kids, we'll put on a team, but your best bet is going to be able to get in our gym and find out if we're the right fit for you, so that going into tryouts that if you get an offer, you're going to stay. Or that, hey, so-and-so is having tryouts at the exact same time, and I'd rather play there. Go there first. And then if you don't get what you want there, then you call us back, and vice versa. Try out for us. If you don't get what you want, then you call them back. So that's my standing oration is that get in the gym beforehand, meet our coaches, meet the other athletes, and figure out what you want to do before tryouts. And then if you get an offer that you like, then take it. All right. So what if I can't make it to tryouts? If you can't make it to tryouts because you're going to another tryout, then we'll just deal with that one when, after you don't get the spot you want and you call us back, then we'll figure that out. But every now and then we get this, hey, my father's going on a business trip to Paris and I've got to go with him. Mom's out of the country as well. I can't be there. Okay, great. Email us. At that point, you tell us, hey, I want to play on a team and I want to play at this level or this level. This level, you put me on a team and I'll see you guys in September. Great. We will happily do that for you. But again, we want you in the gym beforehand so we can see you, so we can put you in the right spot. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, throw something in the chat and I'll jump on it in just a second. I'm going to try and run through this stuff pretty quickly. So we got about 30 minutes here, and then you guys can take off if you got all your answers. And if not, we'll stick around and do a question and answer session. So this is the next one I get all the time. Can she play up? Yes, if she can start. So if your 13-year-old is the biggest, baddest 13-year-old around and she walks in the gym and she's a superstar on our 14s team, absolutely she can play up. If she's going to play up to sit on the bench, then no, we're not moving her up. So she's got to be able to stay. She's got to be able to play up and be an actual contributor on the team at the up level. Across our 1,500 athletes, we probably have a half dozen that are playing up an age group, like straight up just playing up. So it's not an easy thing. It's not a common thing. It's not something we like to do, but we absolutely can. So now here's the other part about that. If you're in that July and August birthdays, the question is, do we play our age or do we play our graduating class? I don't consider that playing up. I consider that playing your age, your graduating class. And so here's what we recommend. 80% of the time, it is in your best interest to play your graduating class. Graduating class, graduating class, graduating class. So in that instance, you would play up 80% of the time. However, there is a percentage of time where the team you would make at the older age group just doesn't fit you very well. But there's a team at the lower age group that is perfect for you. And we're like, do it. Stay down and play your age instead of your graduating class. So at the younger ages, that's 100% fine. It doesn't make beans worth of difference whether you play your graduating class or your age. Doesn't matter at all. At 16s, 17s, and 18s, if you're playing your age instead of your graduating class, you have to work harder at recruiting. But that's not a problem. It's just a little extra homework to do. You can absolutely do it. Not the end of the world by any means. So, and we have a whole recruiting class that will talk about how we do that and what that means and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll get to that in just a second. So what's the best way to get a head start on tryouts? I mentioned it earlier. Get in the gym. We've got train for tryouts. We have invite sessions, and we have some academy sessions. And you can even attend sessions. I know at North, because we're having to use other people's gyms, sometimes we can't offer as many classes as we do at Cobb and at South. You are welcome to come to those classes as well, and then go back into the North gym. And I'm happy to talk to Dustin about, hey, I had 3 kids in, this is what they look like, and this is where I see them fitting. And so that's 100% fine. And we will give you evaluations in some of our classes. So you'll get a note from us that says, hey, amazing feet, great hands, love your voice, thanks for being there, you're a great cheerleader, all those things, and you'll get like a little recommendation thing. Not at all of them, but at a bunch of them. So you'll have a little bit of information to take back with you to the gym. So anyway, I can't stress enough that last part. Get in the gym beforehand. Does it make money for us? Yes. That's not why I'm doing it. It gives us the best opportunity to see your daughter and to put her in the right spot. I don't want to put her too high and I don't want to put her too low. Both of those things stink. So that's that. Moving on, trial registration is open, tsunamivolleyball.com. When you open up the first page, there are 3 blocks right in the middle. The one on the left-hand side says tryouts. Click on it. This is our North Atlanta location. Click on that. It'll walk you through the registration. It'll give you the schedule of when everybody's trying out. Tryouts start in July 12th, and they run through the 19th. The elite are first, ATL are last, and everything's kind of in the middle there. And we do all of our tryouts in one day. So there's no callback. There is a makeup, but you are 100% better off if you can be there in person the first day. That is absolutely your best chance to make the team that you want. Not that you can't make the team that you want coming to a makeup, but you definitely will have a better chance of making the team you want if you're there on your actual tryout day. All right. So travel and housing. We do travel some. Our elite and national travel, our elite travels a good bit. National travels 4 to 5 times. And then our premier teams will travel 2 to 3 times. Our ATL teams do not travel at all. So those teams that are traveling, what we do is we book blocks of houses at a good middle of the road hotel, anything from a DoubleTree to Embassy Suites, whatever. And then you guys can call and book a room off of that. You don't have to chase one down. You can just do that and be part of that block. Or if you want to do something, differently, you can. You can go the Ritz, or you can go Motel 6. We don't really care, except national qualifiers are state of play. So if you happen to be going to Orlando or Philly or one of these other national qualifiers, you have to stay in their hotels, and we'll tell you when we get to that point. This is something also that's different from us. I know some clubs ask your kids to stay with other kids in the club. As a parent, that means I've got to go and pay for one room at 100%. Then I've got to pay 25% of another room that my kid's staying in. And as a parent that doesn't like wasting money, I'm not doing that. If I'm going already, my kid can stay in the room with me, then I know she's going to bed, she's eating well, she's getting up on time, she's going to show up. So that's just what we do. So I like, if 2 families want to get together and share a room, great, but that's not something we're mandating as a club. We want to let families travel together and stay together. And so that's just kind of what we do. One thing I forgot to mention about tryouts is that our tryouts are at our South location in Jonesboro. We do not practice at our Jonesboro location. We ask you guys to come down in Jonesboro about 3 times a year. We go once at tryouts, There's once in December where we do a big play date with some other locations. And then you guys will probably play in one tournament in Jonesboro. Most of you will play at least one tournament in Jonesboro. So we ask you to come down to Jonesboro those 3 times. But tryouts is one of those because we've got a lot. We've got 10 courts down there, and we've got staff that can handle registration and check-in and T-shirts and all that stuff. So anyway, just so you know, so you don't show up at Wyuka Church want to know where tryouts are. All right. I am blasting through these. I know I will get back to you. Recruiting, this is the thing that we do better than anybody else in town, 100% hands down. So we have a recruiting program. We use sports recruits as part of our database. We've got a recruiting director that's a college coach that's on top of making sure we answer all the emails and take care of all that stuff. I run a recruiting meeting where I explain to the parents the things that they need to be looking for and what they need to be doing. And so there are 1,000,001 recruiting classes online that you can watch that are the good generic stuff about you want to make sure you're going to a school that you would want to attend, even if you were to, get injured or whatever. Those are standard answer things. My recruiting class, I'm going to tell you the things that we're specifically doing for you and the things that we expect parents to do for their kids and things we expect kids to do for themselves. So it's tailored a little bit more specifically to us. And as you saw the first 5 slides, it works for us. We've got lots and lots and lots of kids who are going to play college volleyball. So this is only for kids really who are, this is only for kids really who are 16s through 18s. 15s can participate. It really doesn't matter for you guys. 16s, only probably the top 5% of kids in the state are really part of the 16s equation. And then everybody else goes through the 17s and 18s is kind of the standard time most kids get recruited. So anyway, so we'll go over all of that. If you play for us, you'll get all that information and by the end of it, you'll be an expert in recruiting too. All right, so we're going to go into the part that most of you guys are here for is trying to figure out, what are the costs and that sort of thing. So before we go to that, here are a couple of things that matter. The number that you're going to see is everything that you would owe to Tsunami. I know some places are a lot cheaper, and then you get in there and they go, oh, by the way, there's a uniform fee. And you're like, what? And then, oh, by the way, there's a coach's travel fee. Oh, I wasn't expecting. Oh, and by the way, there's a practice fee. And so by the time you get to the end result, they're actually more than we are. So, but we tell you up front. And so you'll know on September 1st, this is what you owe. And we're going to make payments September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, or May and June if you're on elite or national teams that are going to nationals. So you're going to have 8 to 10 months to pay off this number. So there are no additional fees, no additional coach, no additional anything fees. At the elite level, 13s through 18s, not 12 and under, but 13s through 18s, our anticipation is that you want to play against the best teams in the country. And so our tuition includes going to nationals. It's going to AAU nationals. If you earn a bid to USA Volleyball Nationals, you would do that instead. But it runs through June, mid-June, or early July. The elite teams do 13s through 18s. At the national level, 15s through 18s will also continue until July to AAU Nationals in Orlando, or if you happen to earn a bid, you'll go to USAV Nationals wherever they're being held. So everybody else, Premier and ATL, and then 12 and under, and then 13, 14 national. You guys end in at regionals, which is usually like the 3rd week of April. So that's kind of your timeline of what our season looks like. And at the very last thing here, payment plans are available. Most people just make a monthly payment and you set it up on your credit card on the website, and it just takes it out as you go, and we're good. So anyway, so I'm going to go again. I'm going to go to the season fees now, but again, that's everything you would owe to Tsunami. And 13s through 18 elite, it includes nationals, and 15s through 18 elite, it includes nationals. All right, so here are our North season fees for this upcoming season. And new for us, we've added a 10 ATL level. So you guys who have young ones, that is a local only. You play half-day tournaments. It is like 4 half-day tournaments. They're all in our building. You'll play at Jonesboro, you'll play at Cobb, but those are like pool play only. You show up at 9 o'clock, you're done by 1 or 2. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. 10 Elite will also play in a couple of 11s tournaments, so they'll have a little bit more of a traditional tournament feel. Anyway, so these are the numbers. You're welcome to get your phone out and take a picture of it if you like. This information will be on our it'll be on our website. Plus, if you register in advance for tryouts, as we finalize things, we will send it to you. So you'll get this information. You'll get the practice schedule as it starts to become available. Once we figure out, you'll get the coaches as that information goes out. And as much as we would love to put out the full tournament schedule, we can't do that because dates for a lot of the tournaments aren't released until October, November. And so we can tell you what we think you're going to play. And then a club decides, well, we're going to host that tournament in December instead of November or whatever, until we're going to host it in January instead of February. And so it just kind of throws off the whole thing. So if you want to know what the levels look like, you can go to our current website, go to teams, drop down to North, and then pick the team that is your current level. So whatever it is that they did, like if you want the 13 elite team, go to the 13 elite team from this current season, and it will tell you basically what the schedule is going to be like next year. The big tournaments would be the same. We'll do Little Big South. We'll do Big South. You'll do regionals. It will be just the smaller one-day ones that might change. Or if you're one of the higher level teams, the national qualifier schedules aren't out. And so it depends on how they overlap as to which ones we'll do there. But we should know that schedule a little bit sooner. But anyway, as we get those, if you'll register in advance, as we get those things, we will send them to you. We will send them to you as we have them posted when we're sure. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that. Again, that's what I just said, tournament schedule, we'll talk about that. Coaching assignments. Coaching assignments will be released on our Instagram and Facebook. We're doing Cobb now. We start South next week, and we'll start North the week after that. So follow us on social media if you don't currently. Tsunami Volleyball or Tsunami V-Ball on Instagram, Tsunami VBC on Facebook. We'll get all of that information to you as it is released. All right, practice schedule again, as it's confirmed, we will send you guys that. I can tell you what we've done in the past is Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday are elite and national practices for the most part. And then Premier and ATL are Mondays and Wednesdays. That's not a promise. That's not a guarantee, but that's what we've tried to do in the past. All right. So let's see, this is all the contact information for all the social media for Tsunami Cobb, our TikTok, our website, all that kind of stuff. So follow us, please follow us. We have an 18-year-old who is putting together a social media for North. It's just not ready yet, but it will be soon enough. And so we'll be able to cross-post between our North location and our main South Instagram, whatever. Okay, these are all the information, contact information for you guys. And again, this will be posted online, but you will have access to it. So Heather is our main lead admin. She's on here. She may have answered some of your questions in the chat. Her email address is info@tsunamivolleyball.com. Dustin Cho, who a lot of you guys know is our North director. He has his email address is here, dcho@tsunamivolleyball.com. And then I'm Jeff McClellan. I'm one of the directors here. This is my 24th year with the club. And so there's my email address there. And then that office number goes to Heather, who will take care of most of the questions you guys have. And you'll start to get to know Erin Preston. She's going to be working with Dustin from an admin standpoint. So she'll start taking care of you guys a little bit as well. All right, so let's see what else. So that's the end of all the stuff that I have. So let me run into our chat real quick, and let me see what questions I have not answered that Heather has not answered. Can we go to a train for tryout and be evaluated for a team? Well, she answered the question. Yes, you can, absolutely. We would want you to, we'll have a deeper conversation with you. It's not quite that simple, but yeah, we certainly would. Our beginners welcome to the ATL League or their cuts. We tried. All right, so I'm not going to read her answer on this. So we try not to cut anybody at 14 and under. That's our goal. Not cutting it. Like we'll keep going down teams as far as we have to not cut anybody 14 or over. That's almost a guarantee at 12 and under, and that's pretty much a guarantee at 13 and under. Every now and then at 14s we end up with too many or not quite enough, and so we can't make a team with 5 kids. But other than that, we're putting everybody on a team at 14 and under that we possibly can. We possibly can. All right, when does the season start? Okay, Heather's answering all of these. Great. Does everything cost by let's see here. Does everything cost level policies, etc. Is applies to Tsunami South program as well? Our plan is to register Tsunami South as close. Okay. So the question was about South. It's a different set of fees. South is more expensive because we have a dedicated facility we're paying for. So it's a little more expensive up there than it is at North. But that information session is going to be online. it's already online if you just want to YouTube look it up. But it'll be on our website. All right. So that's that. Now I know there like I've finished all the stuff I feel like I need to say. So you guys, if you heard all the answers you need, you're welcome to jump and run. See if I can stop sharing my screen here. Stop sharing. There we go. All right. So anyway, so I've said all the stuff that I need to say. At this point, though, unmute yourself, yell out your question. As I said, I've done this a bunch of times, and I think I touch on everything, but I know that's not true. So what questions do we have? What questions do you have that I haven't answered?
Hey, Jeff, a quick question on the clinics or the time in the gym before tryouts. Well,
Yes.
that is already on the website, or is there just a regular schedule every Sunday or every day? Like, what's
So
the schedule for that for North?
it'll be a sign up for it. We actually have them posted right this second. Dustin is lining up the coaches and confirming the coaches before we actually blast them out. So if you hunt for it on the website, you can find it. It's under clinics and stuff. Under I think it is like training or something. Anyway, it's one of the headings up at the top. It'll take you to the North clinics, and the information's on there. But once we get that, we will email all that out and put it out on social media. So it'll be out there. We've already done it at Cobb and South, and it's like turning a big ship. It just takes us a few minutes to get some of these things put together. But the camp and clinic schedule is already on the website. It's just haven't blasted it out yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I have a question about the how likely that we would have a new gym court rather than the Brookhaven location, because we had some issues there for serving. The girls were not comfortable. There was not enough space basically for the jump serves.
Right.
And they were like leaking water. So I know that you mentioned in the beginning that you might purchase a new place, but how likely that would happen since we're in the north? And my older one, I have two girls, and my older one basically, practices there the whole time, and they couldn't practice the serves as well. So
okay, yeah. So there are two facets to this conversation. I just want to make sure. So I have been looking for a space for probably 5 years in the Brookhaven area and have not been able to find it. I don't live in the area. I've hired professionals. I've hired parents of all the, like, just find us a building that's got parking lot and the columns far enough apart, and we'll invest in it. Like we're ready to do that whenever we find it. We just simply have not found the building. I've been on LoopNet 1,000 times, like once a week. Dustin's looking. Justin Hart, one of our former directors, is there looking. So anyway, so that being said, so the answer is I don't have a clue. The minute we find it, we are prepared to sign the lease. Like we're gung-ho. We've got the money set aside. We know what we're doing in terms of equipment. We know where we get the flooring. All those things are ready. All we have to do is just find the space, and we've been looking. So if you guys are driving down the road and you run by something that looks good, tell me. It's crazy the numbers of people that don't want to rent to athletic facilities, and you basically have to know somebody. But fingers crossed, we are looking consistently, and I've given Dustin a mandate to find a stinking place this summer. So it is 100% our intention that this time in a couple of months, we're talking about the progress we're making with construction. I promise we are looking. The other side of that is that we've got kids who are playing on our 18-1 team at South right now, who I personally have trained at Globe and at Brookhaven. And so it is, while it is not perfect, it is not, the facility doesn't, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but the facility is not a hindrance. For us, the facility matters in that I want to be able to schedule in advance, and I want teams to be able to come in 30 minutes early if they want to work with setters, and that, that sort of stuff really, really matters to me. But the short court serving is more of an irritant. It's not actually the end of the world. Although I would choose to move into a bigger space if I could. So I don't want you to go, the serving's bad, I can't play here. That's not true. As I said, Madden Reagan just finished on our 18-1 team. She's going to play collegiately. I've worked with Madden at the Globe a number of times and at the Briarcliff. So I mean, I know the irritation, but it's not damning, for lack of a better term. It is something you can work with. I don't really like it either, but you can.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, thank you for this information.
Thanks.
We are actually going to be going to the south. We missed the meeting yesterday and just happened to come in to this link for today. I
Okay.
realize you are recording the link. Is
Yes.
it available? And if it is, can you send it to us to listen so we can have a more guided information for the south side?
So the south is already on YouTube. If you'll just, info session 2425, it's already there. You can watch it, but it will also be uploaded to our website probably tomorrow. This one will be uploaded to the website. It'll be uploaded on YouTube tonight. It'll probably be on the website tomorrow as well. And then Cobb will be, I got to re-record it, but we'll get it up right away as well. So yes, it is on YouTube currently. It's public. You can just search for it. But it will be on our website probably tomorrow.
And do you have an idea what the office hours are in the event that we want to go in person and just get more information and get the kids signed up?
At our Cobb location, which is where I live, I coach out of South. I live in Cobb. It's not the smartest thing ever, but it's what we do. We have regular office hours and regular staff. At our South location, everybody pretty much works remotely. So at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you can walk in and get somebody to talk to. At noon, you can't. So any of the evenings, realistically, Tuesdays and Thursdays, the gym is packed right now because all of our, we've got 50 something teams that are still competing at nationals. And so in the evenings, Sunday afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday evenings, you can walk in.
Thank you so much for that information.
You're welcome. What else? What are the questions you guys have?
Hey, Jeff, are you for sure going to have all of those levels in Buckhead?
So it is our intention to have all of those levels. I'll be honest to say that it's probably not all going to happen, but I don't want to limit that to start with and then kids not show up. So our intention is to have all those levels. We probably won't, just because there won't be enough kids show up for some of them. And we have questions realistically between elite and national as well, because a lot of the families are like, hey, we do stuff over the summer. We want to play at a high level, but we don't want to do anything over the summer. And so we do have some people who will bring a complete team to us even. They're just like, hey, we just want to stop in April, but we want to do 3 qualifiers. Okay, well, we'll figure out how to make it work. So anyway, Charles, we want to. I don't know what it's going to look like until we have tryouts. And and furthermore, with tryouts in July, last year was a total nightmare. By the minute I announced the dates, we got probably 100 families from North that said, we're gone. We're not around. How are we going to make this work? So we had tryouts for North was not terrible, but it was like a ton of extra work. We had to do clinics and all this kind of stuff and keep spreadsheets and everything on it. So this year, I anticipate it being a little more consistent with what it has been in the past. So it might be a little bit easier to navigate. I just don't know what that looks like yet. What else? What other questions you guys have?
Hey, Jeff. So my daughter played with Coach Aaron.
Okay.
14-1s over at over in Brookhaven.
Okay.
And so I know that Coach Aaron sent an email to you. I know that the parent just kind of spoke on some things. There were also some other issues that were going on in that email, and we never heard back from you. So just like to know, is there something that you plan on meeting with the parents? Because, at this point, I know the season is over with.
Sure.
However, tryouts are coming up, and we just would like to know whether or not, is this something you're going to address?
Sure. I'm happy to meet with the parents. That's not a problem at all. We actually are, as I have put this out with some of our coaches, my Mondays, we have roughly 1,500 kids, 135 teams. And so anytime I get an email at not a good moment, like I'm not sitting down at my desk, by the time I get back to my desk, it's pushed down 50, 60 emails deep. And so my Mondays and Tuesdays were all answering those types of things. So when you say that, I remember her sending me email now, but had somebody asked me that question 5 minutes ago, I'd have been like, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. So did not intentionally ignore you guys, but I'm happy to meet with y'all at any time. I just need to know when you guys want to meet, and we can do it via Zoom. It's fine. Just have Aaron set up a time with me and that works for you guys.
Okay, thank you for answering that. And just the second part to that, you talked about the North being a little bit less in money versus the South. How
Correct.
much difference is it?
There's almost $1,000. Most of it's just a few hundred, but it's just the difference in facility costs is the extra. We try not to make our South eat all of it. We try to do a lot of it with camps and clinics and that sort of thing. But there is more because of the facility costs. So I don't have the list in front of me, but you're welcome to go look on our website when we put the things up this week and look head to head the difference. Some of them it's just a couple $100. Like some of the younger ages, it's just a couple $100.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. What else? Anybody? I'm happy to answer whatever the question is. I'll stick around. Again, I'm finished with the stuff that I know we need to share. But if you got anything else, I'm happy to answer. You guys are welcome to stick around and yell it out. You can put it in the chat. I know Heather was managing the chat. I don't know if she's still there. Yeah, she's still there. It looks like. So anyway, what else? What questions? You just need to unmute yourself because I think everybody is muted to start with. Going once.
I have one question actually.
All right.
How many coaches the team's supposed to have for the age level? Is it 12 and 13 they get one coach, and then after that is it two coaches? Because we had one this year and I know like she was sick and everything.
It depends on the level. It depends on the level, and somewhat it depends sometimes on availability. I hate to put a coach somewhere that's not feasible. At our ATL level, it's one coach. We try and keep the costs down. It's, the ATL level is lesser uniform package. It's 2 practices a week. It's one coach. Most of the other teams are supposed to have 2. We had some growth this year at North Atlanta, and so we ended up we could put 2 coaches on a team, or we could make 2 teams. And if we made 2 teams, it's 12 more kids got to play. So there was a little bit of there may have been a couple of teams that only had 1 that were supposed to have 2. I don't know what level your daughter played, but they're supposed to.
Yeah. So this year, basically one of them is going to be 15, the other one's going to be 11 or 12. But so the 15 would get 2 coaches, correct?
Correct. Unless she's playing at the ATL level. The ATL level only gets 1 coach, but everybody else is supposed to.
I see. That's for the level. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Good question. What you got for me?
So my daughter is 12 and under, the 12 and under group, and at the tryouts, will you all be able to tell if she's more nationals or ATL? I know you kind of mentioned it, but we had that drop down. I put nationals, but now I'm kind of regretting that. I think she might be ATL.
Okay.
So should I talk to you guys first, or what do we do there?
Either way. All right. So the first things first, whatever you signed up as, we can change it. It's not a problem.
Okay.
So just you'll email us info@tsunamivolleyball.com. We'll change it to whatever you want to. But if you can get in the gym beforehand, you'll get a good idea of what a lot of the athletes look like. Now, it's not entirely fair because a lot of our kids are playing school ball as well. And we try and be very aware of how much time kids are having to spend in the gym. So sometimes what you get at the training sessions is not our actual superstar kids, because they're playing 5 days a week at their school program. So but we will be able to tell you, the coaches will be able to tell you, like, yeah, hey, she's really athletic, or she's really smart, or she's really whatever, and can give you a little bit more advice on where we think you should be. Sometimes though, we're going to give you advice, and if 47 new kids show up and everything kind of goes out the window, that happens. So whatever the advice the coach gives you, please understand, take it with a grain of salt. 5 kids show up, your kid makes whatever team she wants. So
That's great. Thanks.
you're welcome. What else? Any other questions?
Jeff, I think you touched on this, and sorry, I'm trading off with my wife and coming in late, but can you talk about playing time philosophy across the various age groups, or the various levels, rather?
Happy to. So at our elite and national levels, our anticipation is that you want to train at the highest level and compete at the highest level. And so we're playing to win. If your athlete can help us win, she's going to play. If she can't help us win, we're going to make sure that we're training her and we're talking to her about how she's going to get on the floor to help us win. So I do tell all of my coaches that if they have an athlete, they absolutely cannot get on the floor, to let me know and let's move that kid to another team. So you shouldn't have a season where you sit on the bench all season long, but you might have a season where you're the number 3 and, you know, you're number 3 behind 2 others who are you know, better at their skill set than your kid. So that's the elite and national level. Playing time's not guaranteed. At the premier level, which are our regional level, at the premier level, we guarantee playing time in pool play. And even then it is fair, but not equal. So everybody's going to play. The team's going to get out of bracket play, team's going to get into bracket play or not. And then in bracket play, we play to win. And then at the ATL level, empty the benches. Everybody plays. It doesn't have to be every set, but everybody plays all the time. No kid at the ATL level ever will get in the car feeling like she didn't play. Like they're all going to play all the time. We run it like go team go. So does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, sir.
Hi, I had a question. If you're interested in trying out for, say, nationals and premier, would you go to both tryout sessions or try out for the highest level and then
try out for the highest level, and then you're going to get an
Okay.
offer of whatever, or you're going to get invited back to the premier. So it's a good question there. Here's something to know. You might make a national team and not make a premier team. There are absolutely kids that come out to premier that want to play premier exclusively that are better than, from a wins and loss standpoint, better than some of the kids on the national level. So kind of have to weigh that seesaw a little bit. Our 14-1 premier team at Cobb is probably our 3rd or 4th best team at 14s in the club. So it's just a group of kids that are 5'10", they're giants, they hit the ball hard, great setter, good passing, all those things. They just want to play premier. So when you go, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take that offer and then maybe go to this, there's a good chance that, not a good chance, there's a chance that you don't make the premier team, but you made a national team. Happens.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
My daughter did 11s, and so of course there was just the one level in the north.
Right.
And so on that drop down menu, and when they try out, I think for 12s, it says all levels or something. So in the drop down thing, when you go to register, does it matter if we put like elite or whatever the 3 options are, premier? Like, should we just put the highest if we don't care?
I think you have elite, national, and ATL. And so put the one that matters to you, like which one you would prefer. And let's go. We try at 12 and under because there's so many new kids that walk in the door, and there's so many kids that, you know, played at 11s, but then they grow 6 inches or they don't grow 6 inches or whatever, that the gap from 10s to 11s and 11s to 12s is pretty gigantic.
Sure.
Yeah. So there are a lot of just eeny, meeny, miny, mo things that happen at 12 and under.
All right.
It's true.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, my dogs are now deciding to run in and out again. Go. All right, whatever. What else? What other questions do we have? Anybody? What you got for me? Once. Going twice. All right. Well, if that's everything, we're going to call it a night. We'll have this posted on the website. Again, you can always email us at info@tsunamivolleyball.com. That goes to Heather, that goes to myself, and goes to Coach Dunn, and we will make sure you guys get an answer. We appreciate your time very much, and we hope to see you guys in the gym soon. Good night, y'all.